everyone, and welcome to International Film Festival Etiuda&Anima. My name is Paulina, and I'm really pleased to introduce you our next guests. So Joanna Quinn, the director of Affairs of the Art, and together with her we have Les Miles, who is a producer of this animation movie. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. You pose a question in your animation movie: how many obsessions can one family have? And as we can see in your animation, a lot. And I'd like to ask you, how do you understand this feeling of having an obsession from a psychological point? Can you tell us how it can be problematic in everyday life? Because from your animation movie, obsessions can be kind of cute or maybe had a charm, I would say. But they have another side of this situation. So can you tell us more about the obsessions?
Well, I'm obsessed, and I don't get into problems because of my obsession. My obsession is drawing. I'm obsessed with drawing and obsessed with animation. And I'm never happier than when I'm drawing or talking about animation. Les is obsessed with...
I'm not obsessed.
Les is obsessed with going to what's called car boot sales and buying secondhand things. And
I don't do that anymore.
all right, pre-COVID.
I used to before COVID. Yeah.
So we are obsessed, and also the characters in the film are based on obsessed people that we know.
I think everybody has obsessions. You know, sometimes they're hobbies, sometimes they're families. Sometimes everybody in every family that you observe or know, everybody's got some kind of interest which takes over their lives, and they love to do. I think that's probably true of you as well, right?
Yeah, I think that I have some obsessions in my life. I think that I will have to think about them afterwards. But
Tell us now.
that's
now.
I think that there is a funny thing that you told us, that you combine hobby and obsession as the same thing. But I would say that I think that there is a, these are different things. It can be a different things, and I was interested when this maybe border is. I mean, when hobby change into an obsessions, I wonder what are the differences between just a hobby and an obsession of that. Can you tell us?
Well, I suppose that hobbies are things that you can go in and out of and you enjoy in your spare time, and you love it. And I think obsession, when that turns into an obsession, is
you
when...
can't stop. You get involved so much that it takes over a great proportion of your life, and you live for it. You live for obsessions. Hobbies you enjoy, and you can go in and out of them without a problem. Obsessions are things which take over psychologically and practically often, and can become a big problem in terms of illness and medicine. There are people who suffer from obsessional actions which are terrible and take over their whole lives. I think where you're right, though, there's a sort of line between the two, and in our film, I guess, I wouldn't say they were psychologically kind of warped because of their obsessions. But it does take over their lives in a way which we hope the film describes.
Yeah, it could. I think our film could be much darker, actually, if there wasn't the humour in it. It could be a horror movie, really.
Yeah,
with the obsessions.
Yeah, I mean, it does go in and out of humorous episodes into quite dark episodes, and I think we've sort of, all the films we've done have sort of done that to some extent, but this one concentrates on it much more.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. So tell us, how do you cope with your obsession? I mean, if it's too much on your head, what do you do? You prepare an animation movie, but maybe something else as well.
I cope with her obsessions because she's totally obsessed with the whole business of drawing and animation and film and all the rest of it. You know, that's like, and I deal with that because we're a couple. We're intimately involved with each other's activities. So you cope with that from the very beginning. You know, you become aware of what they're into, and you just do your own thing as well. So it's a sort of,
Yeah, I find it hard going to animation festivals because I do get I love going to animation
yeah,
festivals.
you're obsessed with animation.
I am, but I find it hard to switch off. And I know that Les is not as interested in talking about animation for 24 hours a day. So when we go into a film festival situation, I can't shut up, you know, and I just want to talk to everybody.
No, really, I can't get a word in edgeways, right? I have to sort of impose myself.
And I can see Les sort of falling asleep. So, but I think maybe living with somebody really does help you with your obsessions, because I think we are opposites. I'm an optimist and Les is a pessimist. And so sometimes,
not totally.
Sometimes Les just always thinks of the worst. And so I have to say, well, maybe it might not be that bad, you know, so perhaps couples are good at balancing out each other's obsessional fixations.
Okay, can you share with us how long have you been a couple?
1984.
For too long.
That's a long time, right?
About 30, 40 years. I know.
35
God.
years.
And are you a well-balanced couple right now?
Well balanced.
We've never been well balanced. So let's do animation. Yeah, but we work together. Les writes the scripts and does the producing, and then I do the drawing and the directing, and we have
I do the colour and design too.
Colour and design too.
And the sound often.
And so it's very much a team effort. So we're always working. We have a daughter called Paloma, and she left home as soon as she could because we're obsessed with work. And so she went and became a vet and wants nothing to do with animation, except now she seems to be coming back to it. So one day she'll be an animator.
Okay, but that's really interesting how you how your role are put it in the animation, and I found it really interesting that Les, you are the author of the script. I thought
Yes.
that whole animation is your autobiographical story, but now I can see and hear that it's your idea. So can you tell us? Because I found really, I think that Beryl reminds you, Joanna. Would you agree? But the other characters are completely different, or maybe these characters are also members of your family.
So when we just
Yeah.
I guess you know, we are when we make films, whatever we do in terms of artwork or films, or you know, we're observationally based. You know, I before I got involved in animation, I was a sort of documentary filmmaker, and before that, I did fine art. So I've gone through 3 stages to get to animation. I've gone through 2 stages, and now I'm involved. But I bring a lot of what I did before into the films that we make now, especially in terms of the characterization and the observation. Because a lot of the characters in this last film, Affairs of the Art, well, two major characters, my family, they don't know it yet. But Colin, the character in Beryl's son, is my brother. I hope he's not can't get access to this. So, and I've observed, he's older than me, but he's totally obsessed with the things and more that you see in the film. So I've had years and years and years of acute observation of him. And I thought he's when I talk about him, everybody's enthralled. They think they're great stories about my brother. So we use that as a basis for the character of Colin. Beverly, Beryl's sister in the film, is an totally invented persona, not really based on anybody. So we work from both angles, acute observation and I guess you call it imagination. And somehow or other, we mix them up and they occupy our films, all the films.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think yes, that was clear. Thank you for that description. Another thing I wanted to ask you is about the voice of the main character, Beryl. And I wanted to ask you about the actress, but as I can hear, it's your voice, Joanna. Is that right?
Not Beryl. I'm Beverly in the
Okay.
film.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
can you tell us something more? How did you work on that? Because I think that it was so well played and so natural to hold these personas.
Can I say a little bit about that? Because Beverly originated in Wales, she's Beryl's sister, but left Wales to go and live in America. She's obviously got an American accent. So we tried to find somebody, an American who could do the accent, and we failed. But she's such a performer. She's very active and evokes the parts before we have the actors or the actresses. So she was doing it so well. I said, let's not bother with the professional actors. Why don't you just be that character? And that's why you recognize her voice now, because she is Beverly in the film.
Yeah.
And I think she did a really, really good job.
Yeah, it was so
I would
strong.
have rather liked that. I would have preferred
So
an
I
actress.
hope you agree.
Yeah, I am.
The woman who does Beryl, she's done all of the films except the very first one, Girls' Night Out. But yeah, her health isn't terrific anymore. So
she's very old now.
yeah,
She's like,
her voice is getting slower and slower. So we had to speed up some of the voice and do bits of editing to stick words together and just make it a little bit more energetic.
can you say a little bit about Brendan?
Yes.
Brendan, the male voice in the film, does all the male voices. He's one of those actors who can turn on an accent, turn it off, and do a whole range of accents. That's why in the end of the film, went over the credits when Beryl is being interviewed by somebody about her artwork, he's got a Russian accent. So because Brandon, the guy who did him, actually took his voice, did every other voice in the film, including the Russian ones, because we tend to look for actors who are very, very versatile and who can change themselves very, very easily. You want to say anything more about that?
Yeah, and he's also he's got good comedy. So I think when we look for actors and actresses, what we're looking for is people who are good comic actors, and especially in animation, you need to be sort of quite exaggerated when you talk. I don't know what it is, but if you speak normally, it sounds really flat in animation. And if you sound really over the top, it sounds normal. You know, what would sound really weird or overacted in live action, it doesn't really sound wrong in animation. So the actors we choose have to be able to use their voices much more up and down and you know, have more range in their voices to make it interesting, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you for our conversation. I was really glad to talk with you. That was really funny conversation, and
Thank
I
you.
really thank you for that. So we have Joanna Quinn and Les Miles, authors of the animation movie Affairs of the Art. So thank you guys.
Thank you very much for asking
Pleasure.
us, and
Great
thank you for
pleasure.
having our film in your festival.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.